This is an introduction to the Allorado gateway, a solution based on the Siemens IOT2050 with added LoRa capabilities. Our solution allows you to create your own private LoRa network, provision LoRa sensors via a web interface, and make the data available in NodeRED. The solution consists of an off-the-shelf Siemens IOT2050 gateway equipped with a LoRa concentrator card and Allorado software on top. In this video, we assume that you have basic knowledge about the LoRa protocol, as this is not an introduction to LoRa, but rather an explanation on how to configure a LoRa device on the IOT2050 and use the decoded payload information in NodeRED. Via the web interface, you will be able to set up a LoRa device within minutes and see the data coming in. There is a whole library of sensors with already built-in support, so the decoding happens automatically and is seen in NodeRED and on the web interface. With the decoded payload available in NodeRED, you will be able to use that information in your flows to do whatever you like. For example, convert it to other protocols like Modbus, OPC UA or KNX, or even send it to the outside world to a platform of your choice. The possibilities are endless. Let's get started with the setup of a LoRa device via the web interface. Firstly, we log in onto the web interface. On the web page, you will find a number of sections. In the Overview section, there are a number of links that direct you to the product site and the support sites on the left, and some general information about the status of the gateway on the right. We move on to the LoRa section. Under the LoRa Devices tab, we see a list of devices already provisioned on this gateway. The device we're going to be using in this demo is a REC wireless push button with 4 separate buttons on it. Provisioning happens using OTA, short for over-the-air provisioning. To start, we click on the Add Device button. We open the device, give it a name, a friendly name like REC button, and in the first drop-down we select the manufacturer of the device. There is some manufacturers already supported, as you can see. We select REC Wireless. In the second drop-down we select the model. For REC Wireless it's currently only the button. And then we basically enter the keys, the auto keys, the app UI, the dev UI and the app key. We just paste it in there. This information is usually provided by the vendor when you purchase the device. Some basic checks are done on the input fields to verify you've got the correct keys. We just copy and paste this information from the vendor and save the device. So we have now saved a device, we have provisioned it. The next step is to initiate the joining procedure. Initiating the join procedure on the device is vendor specific. When you initiate the join, for example by simply turning on the device, you will see in the live traffic section that the device has joined on the timeline. Let's head over to the live traffic section. This is the live traffic timeline. This timeline allows for a visual check that the sensor is currently connected to the IOT2050 and has successfully joined. So let me actually turn on the device so that it can join. We see here on the timeline a balloon saying that the REC button has in fact joined. So we now know the configuration was successful. The next step is to actually send data to the IOT2050, so I now push one of the buttons. We see here a balloon appearing with the REC button. When we click on it, we can see more details. We see, for example, here on the left, some network parameters, the signal strength, the raw payload as the device transmits it, battery, etc. On the right, we can see the decoded payload. Because we have already added this device to our library, the payload can be decoded automatically. So we have now provisioned a new device, turned it on for the first time and let it join the LoRa network. We've also pushed the button and examined the decoded payload in the live traffic view. This is a very quick and easy way to set up and immediately test new devices. Now, however, comes the second step. What do we do with the data? For that, we move on to NodeRED. First, we head over to the NodeRED section. From here, we can open NodeRED. In case something were to go wrong, we can also consult the logs and disable flows if necessary. So let's open NodeRED. Right, there we are. We started with an empty canvas. In the left pane, we see an overview of all the available nodes. We scroll down to the LoRa device node, and as you can see, there are many there already and many more available in the community. We encounter here the LoRa device node. So we drag it in. To get LoRa data, we first need to set a controller, the LoRa controller, of course. And then we can select a device. We can filter for a specific device. In our case, we want to filter on the rack button, or we can just choose to get messages from all devices. So we choose the rack button. We can also give it a funny name if we would like. We click on Done, and that's all for configuration. Now we want to see what comes out of it, so we also drag in a debug node. We connect the two. In the debug node, we choose to print out the complete message object, and we click on Done. That's it, our flow is done. All that's left is to deploy it, and within seconds we should be all set. We click deploy, and it happens almost instantly. Now, to put our flow to the test, we will push the button on the rack wireless sensor once more. Let's first open the debug tab, and then actually push the button. And what we see here is a message in the console. When we open it, we see a LoRa object in it. We see the identifier, we see device info as we would usually see. We see the RSSI, which is some network parameters. We also see the decoded payload, which says, as we previously saw on the web interface, button 2 was pressed. So that is currently what we're at. We have provisioned the device, we checked whether it worked on the live traffic view, and then the data arrived in NodeRED. This is just a simple example, printing out the payload using the debug node. The possibilities, however, are endless. There are various nodes from the community for all kinds of protocols, like Modbus, BACnet, and OPC UA, as well as platform-specific nodes. We can go here to Manage Palette and Install and search for anything we want. For example, if we go to Modbus, we see, oh, it's already installed, the NodeRED contrib Modbus package. And like that, there are many packages in the directory. Also, as a bonus, we already added our own KNX nodes for use within the Allorado gateway, to integrate, for example, a LoRa sensor and its data into your KNX installation. That was our quick introduction to the Allorado gateway. Thank you for watching.